If you want to make things have results, remember one sentence: never doubt while doing it. Many people seem to be working hard, but in fact they are constantly doubting themselves in action. This internal friction will not only slow down your progress, but also make you lose confidence in the results, and eventually fall into a vicious cycle where the more you do, the more powerless you feel. Why do we doubt while doing it? The root cause is the lack of trust in ourselves and the future. Whenever we face new challenges or unfamiliar fields, all kinds of voices always emerge in our minds. Can I really do it? What if I fail? Is what I do meaningful? These thoughts seem to help us examine the situation, but in fact they are consuming our execution and dragging down our intent. Doubt is a defense mechanism that prevents us from taking risks, but also makes us lose the courage to seize opportunity. The biggest problem with doubting while doing is that it keeps you in a semi-finished state. Every time you try to take a step, the voice of doubt will pull you back, let you start to struggle repeatedly, and even overturn your previous efforts and start over. And this repeated pulling process not only wastes a lot of time and energy, but also slowly loses patience and confidence. In the end, you may even forget what your original goal was, leaving only fatigue and anxiety. The first step to get rid of this state is to learn to suspend doubt in action. This does not mean that you cannot review your plan, but to clarify the boundaries between review and doubt. Review is to find the direction of optimization, while doubt is a denial of yourself. If you spend time to fully prepare and clarify your goals and paths before the start of the plan, then during the execution process, you should focus all your energy on the action itself, instead of looking back to see if there is anything wrong with every step you take. Because every time you look back, it will interrupt your rhythm and drag down your Secondly, you need to establish a mechanism of a posteriori trust, which means that you don't need to be 100% sure that you will succeed at instead. Tell yourself that I am not sure what the result will be, but I believe that as long as I keep doing it, I will definitely make progress. This trust does not come out of thin air, but is accumulated in action. When you complete a small goal, look back at your efforts, and you will find that every step is actually approaching the end, and the small progress is the best weapon to fight doubt. Sometimes our doubts come from the pursuit of perfection. We always hope that we can do our best from the beginning, so whenever we find that things are not as expected, we start to deny ourselves. But in fact, any successful thing is completed through continuous trial and error and adjustment. Instead of being afraid of imperfection at the beginning, it is better to allow yourself to make mistakes and find the direction of optimization in the mistakes. Many times, the so-called perfect start is just a fantasy, and the real key lies in whether you can find opportunities for growth from imperfection. In addition, you need to learn to control your emotions. Doubts are often accompanied by fear and anxiety. These emotions will make you unconfident and even want to escape. But you have to understand that emotions are short-lived, and your goals are long-term. Whenever doubts arise, you might as well stop and take a few deep breaths, telling yourself that my current task is to complete, not to entangle. In this way, you can bring your attention back to the current action instead of being led by negative emotions. Another very important point is not to let the evaluation of the outside world amplify your doubts. Many people always pay attention to other people's opinions and feedback when doing things, afraid of being criticized and afraid of not being recognized. But you have to understand that the evaluation of the outside world cannot determine your value, only you can decide. This does not mean that you completely ignore the advice of others, but learn to screen valuable feedback and reject meaningless noise. Other people's opinions can be a reference, but they must not be your steering wheel. Finally, set yourself a clear closed loop of action. The so-called closed loop means that no matter what the result is, you must complete a complete cycle. For example, if you decide to learn a skill, set a time for yourself. During this time, no matter how doubtful you feel, you must persist until the end and then make an assessment. Only when you have gone through a closed loop can you truly see your progress, rather than verifying your doubts halfway. It is difficult for people who doubt while doing things to achieve real success in anything, because doubt is the most energy-consuming thing, and it will make you waste time and energy that should be used in action. Those who are truly successful are not without doubt, but have learned how to move forward in doubt. They know that doubt is just a process, not the final result. So from now on, tell yourself to do it first and then think about it. Because only when you complete each action steadily can you find the answer in the result, rather than wasting your life in doubt. Remember, doubt never brings change. Only action can really let you see the possibility of the future. If you want things to have results, remember